Go ahead. What's your question?
I apologize. My background is Roman Catholic. I've been watching your stream for about 1.5 years now. I was reading through the Bible, and I passed through Colossians 3:8, and I was confused, but I know that you have a biblical interpretation of well, I don't know. I assume you have a biblical interpretation of the Bible. I trust you. And I want to harmonize that with what I know from you.
I don't trust me too much because I don't trust myself. So what's your problem with Colossians 3:8?
Basically the context that it talks about filthy language and not speaking in filthy language, and I just basically want to harmonize it with what you've taught me.
So why do you want me to harmonize it?
I don't understand it. I don't understand how to harmonize it with the other things that you've taught about how basically the Bible tells about good men cursing out bad people to some extent.
If both statements are in the Bible, so then either you have a Bible full of contradictions or, okay, so you tell me, how would that be apply? Especially, what about Colossians 4:6? That one's even more difficult. Read Colossians 4:6, mister.
Colossians 4:6. Give me a moment. Let me type that in. 4:6. Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. Wait.
Wow. How to reconcile that with all those other statements, mister?
Well, that's why I'm learning. That's why I'm still a babe in the faith.
Think about it, man. Okay, so you think about it, dude. If all those statements are in the Bible.
Well, I imagine the cursing out of dogs is something that's different from just speaking on normal terms with other Christians and with those who you might consider family, those who you might consider close, rather than
only family. But can't you have family members that oppose you and your enemies and blaspheme?
That's true. Maybe it's for the purpose of protecting those who don't understand, if it's in the context of maybe a heated debate rather than in a conversation between you and another person.
So again, when do you think a passage is applicable? If you have both statements in Scripture, let your conversation be seasoned with salt, right? And do not insult, curse one another. And yet you have the same apostles, God, Christ, insulting, cursing people, even having imprecatory psalms where the psalmists are praying God's wrath and destruction on people. Help me understand. Come on.
I won't lie, Sam. I'm very lost on this. That's why I came to you.
Why you be lost, man? Think you're giving up too easy. Come on, man. That your confusion because you haven't listened enough to the sessions. I've addressed this. Read for me Proverbs 26. Open up Proverbs 26.
Proverbs 26?
Yeah, just open up the entire chapter.
Okay.
Read verse 4 for me.
Verse 4. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him.
So should I stoop to the level of fool and act like him?
No, well, it says that you will be just like him if you do.
But you don't do that, right?
Yeah.
But read verse 5.
Answer a fool according to his folly, or he will be wise in his own eyes.
You just confused me. You just gave me two contradictory statements side by side. Read verse 4 again.
Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him.
Now read verse 5.
Answer a fool according to his folly, or he will be wise in his own eyes.
But wait, verse 4 says, don't answer a fool according to his folly. Verse 5 says, answer a fool according to his folly.
I'm so lost.
Because you're thinking, okay, well, it says, be gracious. All right, all the time. So when Jesus insulted people, rebuked people, overturned tables, and took a whip of cords and drove people out, so now Jesus is being a hypocrite?
No, Jesus is not being a hypocrite.
So when Paul calls people sons of the devil, enemies of all righteousness, calls them dogs, is Paul being a hypocrite?
No, absolutely
not. So where's the confusion if you understand that a passage will be applicable depending on the situation that you're in?
Okay.
Where's the confusion? That's Ecclesiastes
I guess
3, verse 1:8.
There is no confusion then.
Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1:8, mister.
Ecclesiastes
3:1:8. Chapter 3, verse 1:8.
1-8. Okay. Do you want me to read out the full passage?
Please read out loud, mister.
There's a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a
There's
time
a
to
time
die.
for what?
A season for every activity under
The
the
part
heavens.
before that. A time for what?
There's a time for everything.
Oh, so there's a time to insult people and be kind to people?
Yes.
And a season for everything?
Yes.
A season to insult people and be gracious to people?
Correct. Yeah.
Where's the contradiction?
There is no contradiction.
Now read the verses follow. It tells you.
A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal.
Oh, wait. Healing and killing, there's always a time for one or the other?
Correct.
But how can you reconcile that? That's a contradiction. You either heal or you kill.
Right. So it is situational. It is circumstantial then too.
Thank you. Where's the problem, brother? Shoot.
Right. Then there's no problem. I suppose then what I'd want to ask is, well, right, you told me let the Spirit guide me for those situations.
How am I going to know?
Right.
Because it depends on the circumstance who you're dealing with.
Right. That's true.
All right, but finish it. There's more.
Okay. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to
So
weep.
hold on. When it's time to tear down, should you be building?
No.
So when it's time to build, should you be tearing down?
No.
So when it's time to be gracious, should you be insulting?
No.
When it's time to insult someone because they're blasphemous, should you be gracious?
No.
There you go, brother. Keep
Okay.
reading, man.
A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance.
So at a funeral, should you be laughing?
No.
At a comedy show, should you be crying?
Probably not.
Unless he's boring as hell.
It's really boring.
All right. So at a wedding service, should you be crying and mourning and wearing black?
Yes.
At a wedding, huh?
Oh, sorry. No, not at a wedding service.
That tells us how you want people to feel at your wedding. So when people come to a wedding and they're wearing black and they're mourning and wailing Chaldean style, is that appropriate time?
No, it's not an appropriate time.
Why not?
I suppose that would be rather rude to the bride and to the groom.
But wait, brother. It says there's a time to weep. Didn't it say that right there?
It did say that, yeah.
So why can't I weep and mourn at that time when they're been married and we're all wearing black? All the Chaldeans come in. They don't go because that's what they do in the weddings. They go. Or, why can't they do it then?
It would be inappropriate, I suppose.
Oh, because that's a time to laugh.
Right, that's the time to laugh. That's the time
Rejoice,
to
right?
Yep.
What if at a funeral service they start dancing going and they bring, Dolo Zorna, where they bring the drums and the horn.
That would be rather inappropriate, I imagine.
Why? It says there's a time to laugh. So why not laugh at a funeral?
It would be extremely disrespectful to
What?
everyone involved who actually cares. Well,
So wait, you're telling me when a woman is burying the body of her husband and she's in black and mourning, it's not the time to say, "Come on, lady, you're free now. Let's come on." You sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Positive?
Yeah, I'm positive.
All right, keep reading.
A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing.
All right, so when your wife is very emotional and broken, it says there's a time to embrace and a time to what?
And a time to refrain from embracing.
So your wife is broken and she's crying and you refuse to embrace her. And she goes, why? Because it says there's a time to refrain from embracing. This is the time.
That,
you're not going to be married for long, right?
Yeah, she will be divorcing.
You sure?
Well, that or killing.
Yeah, but you say, hold on. It says there's a time to refrain from embracing. I'm just being biblical here.
Right.
So this is what happens. This is what happens when someone quotes to me Colossians 4:6. Let your conversation be seasoned, right?
Right.
Okay, I get that. Yeah. Who says that every conversation you insult and cuss someone out? Every time. But then what about those places where Jesus insults, curses people, calls them adulterers, calls them vipers. I guess they don't know the Bible after all. Now finish it. Keep going.
A time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak.
All right. So when it's time for you to speak up in defense of the faith and you go silent, someone says, why? Because it says it's time to be silent. Are you applying that passage correctly?
No, that would definitely be inappropriate.
But now notice another thing. It says a time to give up. That principle is applicable to every aspect of the Christian life. There's a time where you have to give up and walk away, even if it's from a relationship that you see it's not going anywhere because the other person is resistant and you cannot force them to do what is right.
Right.
So when you have a child that is addicted to drugs and doesn't want to give up, and you keep chasing them and you keep doing everything you can, then now you're enabling them. You're not helping them. There's a time where you have to give up, cut off ties, hand them over to the Lord.
Right.
And that is also true with marriage. If a spouse checks out and she leaves you or he leaves you and doesn't want to return, you don't keep chasing them like a dog. You need to give up, hand them to the Lord, and let God deal with them.
Yeah, Lord knows that's true. That is.
So there is no contradiction. I'll finish it all the way to 8.
A time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate.
What? So you mean there is a time to hate?
Yes, that is.
No.
That is what it reads.
No, man. I thought God is love. You can't hate.
Hmm.
Do you want me to show you all the verses where it says God hates the sinner and the sin too?
I've seen many of your sessions on it.
All right. There is no contradiction, brother. There's a time to love and there's a time to hate.
Okay.
But now,
All right.
when you finish 8, let me know. Keep going 8.
A time for war and a time for peace.
Why do you think people are having a hard time with what Israel Netanyahu is doing in Gaza? Because it's not a time for war.
It is not a time for war, no. Yeah, and it's really disturbing what's been going on there too.
Because he's a son of Satan. And he justifies it because he calls them Amalekites. He goes, Amalek. That's the language he uses. Butchering 1 Samuel 15 and applying it to them, saying they're the Amalekites.
It's really disgusting, to be honest.
Okay. Now, am I being righteous in my hatred of him?
Yes, you are.
Oh, but wait, I thought you're supposed to love your enemy. You're not, Kurth, because this is what happens when you put the Bible in the hands of someone untrained.
Right.
And if you want to remember this passage, they made it a song. Did you know Ecclesiastes 3:18, there's a song?
I did not know that.
Anyway, did that answer your question?
Yeah, that answered my question. Thank you.
Anything else? Or are you okay? You're happy now?
I'm happy now, yeah.
You sure? Are you sure it's time for you to be happy and not to cry?
Well, I think so. I think it's a time for me to be happy. I got my question answered, and I'm
Anything else? Any other question, or you're good?
I'm good.
All right, good. Make sure it's not a time for me to make you cry. Okay, brother. Bless you. God bless you.
God bless you.
Bless you.